All right. Did you see that on the that's a picture I have on Instagram right now, but the the in-season basketball tournament, say that 5 times fast. They have special courts for the it's behind me on Instagram, but I'll show you. You can see it behind me on Instagram, but I took a picture and I'm like, some of the courts are kind of cool. You can see them on Instagram, but you can't see it on my YouTube page. Yeah, some of the courts are kind of cool. Is it going to make me watch the basketball tournaments that much more? I don't think so. I don't think so. And because it's on my head, South Africa, what's it, the Springboks beat the All Blacks for their fourth World Cup title, never been done before. That happened. Max Verstappen won Mexico City. That's 16 Formula One races this year. Leonard Williams got traded to the Seahawks for 2 draft picks. Am I correct in what I saw there? Leonard Williams got traded for well, 2 future, draft picks, and McAfee said that it is going to add some juice to the defense. He plays hard. I like him. Traded him for, let me see, a 2nd-round pick next year and a 5th-round pick in 2025. Trade deadline's tomorrow. They lost yesterday to the Jets. I guess I like him. I think he's a hell of a player. And, they have no more draft picks coming their way via Russell Wilson. So I guess they decided they wanted a player. They're playing for a playoff spot. And 1.5 sacks this year is 39.5 in his career. Thibodeau had 3 sacks yesterday against the Giants, 8.5 for the season. They'll concentrate on Dexter Lawrence, who leads the NFL. Did I see a stat that he leads in pressures? I want to make sure I get this right. JD's Talking Sports dropped the G. I'm everywhere. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Yes, I know. Josh is going to say it's too dark behind me. I cannot get good lighting in this goddamn apartment. Josh, I apologize. It's hard to see my punum, my face, as my mother would say. And I apologize for that. I had something set up, but I got a late start today, so I can't get what I want. And I'm like, let's get moving on a show. I got to get out. Michigan's brother's in town. We're going out to dinner. I got to go make a food run for Harriet. So we got things we got to do today. Yes. So Dexter Lawrence is tied for the league in pressures with Nick Bosa. And today is the sports equinox. Well, that means NHL, NBA. Tibbs ate up Becton yesterday. Dude, he's not a bust for one fucking game. Come on, Bumbles. Come on, Dr. Joe. But yes, Becton, had a bad game. He did. So today is the equinox: NFL, NBA, NHL, hockey, and MLS. NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA, hockey. You have World Series Game 3. Max Scherzer, the former Met, actually for the team who drafted him, going against the team who drafted him, the D-backs. You got Raiders at Lions. Amon Ross St. Brown, he's like 50 to 60 points for me tonight. So let's pray to the football gods that he does it for me tonight. You have basketball, Bulls at Pacers, Heat at Bucks, Warriors at Pelicans, Magic at Lakers. And hockey, Hurricane at Flyers, Panthers at Bruins, Canadian Golden Knights. Golden Knights are 8-0-1. And then MLS playoffs. I'm sorry, I just woke up again. MLS playoffs, which is torture. Orlando City Soccer Club at Nashville on Apple TV, and then Seattle Sounders at Dallas. Congrats. Today, the one day only in 2023, the sports equinox. Rejoice! Rejoice! Yes, I know you're all ecstatic about that. NFL trade deadline. Now, Stafford hurt his right thumb. He could go in the IR. Kenny Pickett, rib injury. So does Tyrod Taylor. But Daniel Jones is a go. Next game. Just see the light in front of you and no lights behind you, but doesn't ever stop me from watching. All right. Well, that's the thing. You see, Josh, in this apartment, it's only 385 square feet, so there's not a lot of light options here. But knowing that in the future, I guess I'm going to keep lights in front of me, lights off behind me, and I would run and do it right now, but I'm too much into the show. But we will attempt it next show and make it happen. Yes. Consider it done. Consider it done. Yeah, that's pissing me off. So Tyrod Taylor and Kenny Pickett rib injuries. I don't know. Minka Fitzpatrick hamstring, Darren Waller, and Drake London from the Falcons a groin injury. Now they yanked out Desmond Ridder. They put in Taylor Heineke, but Arthur Smith, who needs to get rid of that fucking mustache, it's terrible on him, needs to put in Taylor Heineke, or maybe they're going to draft a quarterback next year. But it doesn't look like Desmond Ridder is for long. Lions are 7.5-point favorite today. Jimmy G's back. They're 3-4. They suck. 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 5 starts. Not good entering week 8. The Raiders offense 30th, 16 a game, 27th in yards, 32nd in rushing. Josh Jacobs, too, got that 1-year deal, and it's not getting done. Ron Rice, St. Brown, 51 catches, 557 for 3. So I need to have about 20 catches tonight, and I'll win. Jamar Gibbs is starting. He came off a 126-yard game. Sam Laporta, the tight end out of Iowa, tight end has 35, 377, 3 touchdowns. Raiders have a mediocre defense. I guess we'll see what happens there. But yes, now Josh is Michigan's cousin and reached out to me. He is a huge Bills fan. And he sent me something today. Josh Allen, MVP frontrunner. Now, MVP is regular season, which to me means jack shit. So frontrunners are Pat Mahomes, 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Josh Allen, 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Jalen Hurts, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Lamar Jackson, 14-3. He said that he would say that Lamar Jackson is right now his frontrunner. I'm like, dude, it's 8 games. And I said, child, please. I'm like, really? Really? I mean, come on. It's 8 games in the season. He said that, yes, I agree. Josh Allen is so important to the team. One of my friends says that Josh Allen is a complete bust. I said, what about Tyreek Hill? First guy to have 1,000 yards receiving in 8 games. What about CMC? Tied Lenny Moore with, he lost to Zach. I know. Yeah, he lost to Zach. So that means he doesn't have MVP. You know, Mahomes lost yesterday to Russell Wilson. Does that mean he's not an MVP? And he lost to Jared Goff. Does that mean he's not an MVP? I say bullshit. What does it matter if he lost? Can't win every goddamn game, dude. And that first game was just a shit show. He had a terrible game. So I agree with you. I don't think he's MVP, but I do think he's important to the Bills. I said a lot of shitty games, 5-3, a lot of football left to play. McCaffrey, 17 straight games with a touchdown, ties Lenny Moore in 63-64. And Mahomes is an MVP. Well, who's your MVP then, Bumbles? Who's your MVP, Dr. Joe? Who's your MVP, Josh? Who's your MVP? So then I'm not taking Allen in that argument. Oh, he says, if we're talking about quarterbacks, Allen has been the best, especially given Hurts and Mahomes have caught up to him with the turnovers. But I also say he's never gotten to an AFC Championship game. He hasn't even got to a Super Bowl. And he said it's a regular season award, which says to me that he's more concerned about winning an MVP than winning it. Because I'd rather have a ring than an NFL MVP. Because Aaron Rodgers has had a lot of MVPs. Has it led to Super Bowl championships? No. Has he been back to Super Bowl since he won it? No. So, he's been there twice, right? Once? I think they beat the Steelers. Did he get back again? It's been close. Been in some AFC Championship game, but they haven't won anything. So he said that to me, and I was like, dude, I think you should want the ring more than you want a regular season award. Like, you can have it, rather have the ring. You should too. He goes, I would, but I like people to stop shitting on Josh Allen frequently. I said he's been really inconsistent, and he said they shit on Mahomes, and Justin Herbert I think is a good one, but he's not that good. Josh says Tyreek Hill is his MVP at the moment. And Bumbles must be working, fixing someone's teeth. Yeah, I agree. You know, Mahomes should have lost to the Jets. Allen lost to the Jets. He was sick. He says it gives him a pass. I said good stuff. I said I'm going to talk about it on the show. I said that Allen is reckless, but he's a hell of a quarterback, but reckless. And we'll see what happens. But I wanted to make sure I got Joshua on the show. So we have that. They also talked about NFL messes the week. Rams got blown out. I don't really think I'm going to judge the Cowboys on a game where they blew out a Rams team, which, Matthew Stafford left with a thumb injury. Power rankings don't mean shit to me because Cowboys could be number 1 seed and still blow into the playoffs. That doesn't mean anything. But home field kind of matters. Chiefs, hey, not a good game. Mahomes was sick. Russell Wilson did 119 yards and 3 touchdowns? It's not like he was lighting it up out there. Falcons, yes. Falcons, bad loss. Will Levis, they're talking about him like he's the greatest quarterback since Johnny Unitas. And I'm like, yes, I feel for you Titan fans, but let's be realistic here. It's one goddamn game. And he's going to start Thursday against the Steelers. Let's see what happens on Thursday Night Football. But I need more than one game. I need like a 5-game window to see what he's doing. I need consistency before I'm going to say, oh, he's been better than all the quarterbacks. And they said, oh, he's been shit on this offseason and nobody wanted him, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like, come on, guys. And Vikings said they're not going to go after a quarterback. So it's Jaron Hall is going to be the guy. Backup quarterback rookie at a BYU. It's going to be ugly. Justin Jefferson can't be happy about that. They're 4-4. And now they lost a quarterback who's in a contract year. I mean, we're going to see what happens there. Niners, 3 losses in a row. They haven't scored more than 17 of those 3 losses after 5 straight wins. Brock Purdy, 2 interceptions, 1 in the red zone. Defense has been shaky this year after being one of their strong point the last couple of seasons. And the Bengals came in and got the win, 4-3. Burrow had his best game of the season. And, they've arrived. Bears, yet Bajan is starting again this next week. He is starting. Can't compare him to Justin Fields, different quarterback. They haven't won in L.A., the Bears, I think, since 88 or something I saw. And during that time, they averaged 9 points a game. It was over. It was 37. They lose 30-13. Never in the game. It was ugly, ugly, ugly. And, yeah, I mean, his father's an arm wrestler. I'm really glad. But he threw a bad interception. They didn't get much done. He's going to start against the Saints. Justin Fields is still week to week. I mean, I guess we're going to see what happens, right, going forward. Time will tell on that front. Giants. So almost brought this up. Salah had a Lebanese flag on his sleeve. It was not meant as a political statement. I went a little on a tangent yesterday. The league has encouraged players and coaches to represent their heritage. He's the son of Lebanese immigrants. He's proud of being a Lebanese. I mean, you know what? Bumbles gets me riled up sometimes. Dude, he was just showing his heritage. So, okay, I'm out. So I apologize if he's allowed to wear what he wants. He's proud of his heritage. He's proud of his parents. And you know what? Hey, they got the win, a gritty win. They got it. They got it done. There were more punts yesterday, 24 than points. 24 punts were the most since 2003. There were 15 punts and 0 third down conversion in the first half. -9 passing yards, least by a team since 2000. The over-under was only 35 points. They finished 23 total points, and they went to overtime. Tommy DeVito, I mean, come on. They had no faith in him, so you don't let him throw the goddamn ball? Then why you put him in? Dable, why'd you put him in? Why even put him in? I mean, and you knew that the ball was going to Saquon, and he still had over 100 yards rushing. They're 4-3, the Jets. They beat a 2-5 team with a third stringer who had 2 completions. I call that a miracle. And also when they had a 99.7% chance of winning the Giants, and they still blew the goddamn game. Still blew it. And Jay said, I'm mentally exhausted, but I really thought we deserved to lose because of 2 turnovers and 100 yards of penalties and having a 4th-string center and 3rd-string guards. Unfortunately, for most NFL teams, 3rd-string quarterbacks are just totally inept, and Graham Gano never misses 2 field goals, but he's dealing with some injuries. That's what I read. But I'll take it. -9 yards passing, I said, but Wilson is not the long-term answer, right? I said, my friend said he outplayed Mahomes and Hurts, misses so many throws. He says, I'm not gloating, I'm just relieved. Had the Jets lost, I would have told you it was the worst Jets game I ever saw. Like you say, to have lost to a team with -9 yards passing. I said, Brian Dable, terrible coaching. He said, I'm not concerned at all about Dable or if Giants fans are pissed. Boo-hoo to them. I always hate them, especially after 2011. So my biggest concern is not Zach Wilson right now. It's the offensive line. We were 3rd-string center, 1 3rd-string guard, and 1 or 2 2nd-string tackles, depending on how you want to classify Mekhi Becton, who got destroyed, as Bubble said yesterday. Jets D was respectable, and of course you can't get anything versus Giants 3rd-string quarterback. If anything, they fucked up on that one play when Danny DeVito, as he called him, snuck in for the quarterback sneak touchdown. To me, that felt like the Dan Marino fake spike. I said, really? That bad? He said he meant to say that he snuck in for the touchdown. He said, with Kirk Cousins going down and the Jets offensive line being very questionable, not sure what the Jets can do during the trade deadline. It's time for me to watch the other AFC teams and hope that one slightly better than the Jets starts screwing up. He said, if the season ended today, which drives me crazy when people talk about that, he said, if the Buffalo will be the first wild card team at 5-3, 4 of the teams are at 4-3, including the Jets. But Pittsburgh and Cleveland would sneak in past the Jets and the Bengals because of a better conference record. Can they find a competent offensive lineman for the right side and center? We also have to think the Bengals will start playing better, which they did. I mean, they beat up the beat up the Niners, and some of those other teams like the Raiders and Chargers, Pats are one Jets have to beat. Right. exactly. And the Dolphins beat them twice. So already swept the Pats. Yeah, this is all from him. I thought he maybe wrote it or something, read it somewhere. No. He said, I'm looking at the standings and doing calculations. Guy has a lot of, his Michigan says, useless information. I say it's useful to me. I love this stuff. He said it also makes for Jets fans to root hard for the Ravens and the Jaguars since they're in first place anyway. And they play a lot of those teams the Jets are contending with in the wild card. And he says, feel free to use it. So I did. So Jay, I'm giving you props. Broccoli Rob sent me this. So Connor Hughes, before the game ended, said Brian Dable deserves immense credit for getting this Giant season back on track. They were dead in the water at 1-5. Now they're 3-5 with the Raiders next. Dable and Wink Martindale just took down the Jets without the QB1, QB2, left tackle, right tackle, and more. Not pretty, but enough. So that was at 4:10. Then later, he wrote that I tweeted too soon. I'm sorry for those I may have caused pain with the premature fingers. I jinxed the Giants. I brought unneeded pain upon the Jets. I would like to say this won't happen again, but probably definitely will. Rob felt he's a professional, can't make mistakes like that. Was furious with him, gets paid. This is his job, his profession. I said, I feel like everybody makes mistakes. To err is human, to forgive is divine. See, I'm poetic sometimes too, but I thought that was hilarious. He posts that and then he's like, oh shit. And then I said, thanks for the good material. Almost called you up to be on the show, which he said he would have done. He said, I always have good material and I'm a sports genius. And I said, genius, as long as you think so. And he said, no, I know so. I said, okay, tough guy. Okay, Francis. He said, clutch player about his Zach Wilson. So Rich Samini tweeted that Rob sent me, Broccoli Rob. Zach Wilson was 4 for 7 for 67 yards on the Jets' final drive of regulation, set up the game-winning field goal. 2 for 3s on throws, 15-plus yards downfield. 2 for 2 under duress. Prior to that, he was 1 for 4 on throws, 15 yards down the field, and 4 for 13 under duress. And had that terrible fourth down sack, which almost cost him the game. He thinks they'll make the playoffs barring injuries. I said, okay. I said, hey, listen, I hope so. Will it happen? I don't think so. But, I mean, I still think they have a lot of football left to play. They're playing the Chargers on Monday night. I'm supposed to go, but we're going to see them play against Atlanta. So they have some, but every week you never know. I mean, look at the Texans went into Carolina undefeated. Yeah. You can't play YOLO ball all game. Who was playing YOLO ball? You only live once ball all game. There's no success there. So I don't understand what you mean there, Josh. Who's playing YOLO? The Jets? I mean, they weren't accomplishing anything yesterday. Oh, Zach. Yeah, I don't know if Zach's playing. Zach looks like no. I think Zach needed to throw the ball away. Nobody's open. Chuck the ball away. Get rid of the ball. Don't take the sack or throw it. Yeah, he's under duress. Yeah, he doesn't sense the pocket, Josh. He doesn't sense the pocket and under duress. I mean, every photograph. Listen, I still remember Brady against the Giants Super Bowl 2007. They hit him every freaking time they could, and it affected him. He wasn't used to getting hit. He wasn't used to being under duress, and the Giants hit him every shot they can. Zach has shown us that he's not good under duress. He's not even good with an open pocket for the most part. Listen, he played well at the end of the game, but overall was skipping balls to the players, overthrowing them, bad throws. I just think there's a lot of work he has to do. A lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And Bryce Huff, 30.5 pressure rate. The next best this season, 21.5. That's good. The Giants had a passing success rate of 4.2%, worse than 2000, which is when the data began. There's only one other game below 7.5% and only 9 below 10%, 4.2%. So right now they're saying it's going to be, Daniel Jones is going to play next week. That's good. And Mike Vorkanov said the Giants blew this game so improbably. This usually only happens to the Jets. Graham Gano missed a 35-yarder shot wide right. Missed a second field goal, a chip shot wide left. The Jets, who hadn't done anything offensively, 50-yard catch and run for Brees Hall. What do you have, 12 rushes for 17 yards? Yeah. And Dable said, I made the decision I thought was best for the team. It didn't work out. So at the end of the day, I take responsibility, but I thought it was the best for the team. That's the way I'll always make them. Yeah. I mean, hey, he thought they'd make the field goal, but get that first down. And also, Saquon kind of went down and was afraid of fumbling again. So that's where he went down. They think if he would have stayed in his feet, he could have got a first down, but it didn't happen. And Dexter Lawrence said, I hate losing. It doesn't feel good to lose. It doesn't build a lot of morale when you lose. It's hard for a leader to get the team going after a loss, but as leaders, that's what we have to do. And they said, this is the kind of game you get fired for. That's how badly it was. And Terod went to the hospital. Yeah, nobody's happy we lost, he said, including ownership for the Giants. That's a game they said you get fired over games like that for playing that. I mean, what's the point of he doesn't have confidence in DeVito? What's the point, man? I mean, you throw for -1 yards? I mean, come on. Terrible. Yeah, Thibodeau's third sack to force a turnover on downs, 120. That should have been the game. Giants defense has allowed 11.3 points per game over the last 3 weeks. Have one win. Opponents just 3 for 30 on third down in the past 2 games. Lawrence says you work hard, you dominate. To come off the other side doesn't feel good. And Thibodeau played nearly every defensive snap despite dealing with a knee injury that required a brace and limited him in practice last week. He beat Mekhi Becton for a strip sack on the opening series, set up a field goal, 8.5 sacks the past 6 games. And he also, what did I see there? He has, wait. Yeah, I saw. Do I have that up here? He has also stops. Yeah, recorded 3 sacks against the Jets, but also had 6 stops according to PFF. He's more than just a pass rusher. Yeah, guy can play, man. I mean, he took over the game. He did. He took it over. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do, huh? Ugly, man, just ugly. I don't know how if you have no faith in DeVito, why you put him out there. If you're going to put him out there play quarterback, guy played football. Let him take some shots. That's what I think. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ugly. 2-6. No, they're not allowing points. Jets lost their top 2 centers to injury during the game. The run defense was lights out. Jets had 58 yards and 22 carries, 2.6. As I said, Brees Hall, 17 yards and 12 carries. Did have 50 yards in that catch. Barkley, 36 carries, 25 after halftime, 128 yards when they knew he was getting the ball. 34-yard run on the second play of the third quarter. That was a nice one. Then grinded 6 yards to convert a 3rd and 6. And then the keeper, they were going down on Barkley. They didn't get him. Could have got the game, but he dove for 6. Dove to the ground after getting 6 yards. He had an untimely fumble, traffic late in the win over Washington. He didn't want to give the ball. 4th and 1, they missed the field goal. -9 yards net passing. That brought to mind the -6 net yard passing that the Giants had in a 29-3 loss in Week 17 of Judge's final season. Before that game, no team had managed negative net yards passing since 2009. Yeah, Taylor was 4 for 7 for 8 yards. Yeah, the conservatives ridiculous. Yeah. He called a field goal on 4th and 1 from the Jets, 29 early in the second quarter. He missed a 47-yard attempt wide. He said, we're trying to get points. Didn't work out. Matt Barkley, they brought in Ian Book, but it looks like Daniel Jones is back. We won't have to worry about that. Gano's refusing to let a left knee injury that reportedly will require postseason surgery. So Gano was the second time he's missed 2 field goals in the game this season, as he also went 0 for 2 for the opener. Before that, he had missed 2 field goals in the game since 2016. He's 64.7% of field goals this year, made 91.8 in his first 3 seasons. They signed him to a $16.5 million extension before the opener. It is not looking well right now. Yeah. And Darren Waller went down with a hamstring injury in the second quarter. He's had a history of soft tissue injuries, which who knows if he's going to play next week. They only had 2 tight ends, Waller and Bellinger, available. Lawrence Cager was sent to the practice squad 2 weeks ago. So there were 12 personnel, a running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers on 9 of the first 13 plays. And then they had to play Bellinger every snap the rest of the way, with offensive lineman Marcus McKeithen serving as a jumbo tight end on a handful of plays. No Andrew Thomas, out there, missed his 7th straight game with a hamstring injury. Evan Neal's 2nd straight game with an ankle injury. You got the trade deadline coming. Thank you, Dan Dugan, for all that. And Sauce Gardner thought the game was over. He removed the tape from his hand, was going to head to the locker room. Then they come back. He said, shit, I got to put my tape back on my hands. And they lost their only 2 remaining centers, Connor McGovern and Wes Schweitzer, to injuries. They had to play Xavier Newman, who was signed to the practice squad on October 5th for the Jets, only played guard in the NFL. He's playing center. He had a couple. His first snap was muffed, lost and recovered by the Giants. His second snap wasn't much better. They smoothed it out. They had to work out him and Zach Wilson on the sidelines. He goes, I don't even know how it happened. That's on me for not having all the faith at the end. Yeah, dude, talk about no faith. Thought it was all over with. I want to be the leader that I say I am. I got to be able to lead when it's good and bad. It's easy when everything is going in the right direction. Salah said they never ask how, they ask how many. All right, so you got the win. Okay. Yeah. So the Jets 2 for 15 on third downs. They did get that Zach Wilson 11-yard in overtime. Worst third down conversion, 23%. Browns are 31st. They have 31.1 on third downs. Yeah, and before that last drive in the fourth quarter, 14 to 29, a buck 71, and 50 came on one of them. So think of that. 13 for a buck 21, which is shit. That's garbage. He took a sack on the fourth day. Yeah. Fumbled Newman's first snap. Yeah. Oh, he took responsibility. No running game. Yeah. Thomas Morstead actually pinned the Giants offense inside the 20 and 4 punts, inside the 5 and 2 of them. Some Jet players said he should have got the game ball. And Garrett Wilson, the reality is we have standards on the offensive side of the ball that we're not meeting right now, and we take this win with a grain of salt. Yeah, I don't disagree, dude. That was ugly, ugly football. The Jets offensive line allowed 21 pressures, 4 sacks. A strip sack in the first quarter that Thibodeau easily got around left tackle Mekhi Becton. Yeah, McGovern, 12:04 in the second quarter. He barely put weight in his leg. That means he's out for a while. Joe Tippmann was out, the starting right guard. Schweitzer went from guard to center. Then Schweitzer got his calf injury on a third down play with 4:20 left in the second. I mean, that's crazy. Crazy. The Giants were 2 for 19 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone. The Jets got 4 sacks, 15 total pressures per True Media. Will McDonald disrupted Gano's kick on that miss in the fourth quarter, too. Defense, 6 penalties, some of them costly. Salah said unacceptable. Okay, dude, great. Yeah, they did enough to win the game. That's the beauty of it. Garrett Wilson said you can play like that and still have a chance to win at the end because of our defense. They keep us in every game. We feel like we're letting them down sometimes, all the time. We're this close to being special on both. Dude, you are not special on offense. No. But pulling it out was a great feeling. Thanks, Zach. You are not close to being special on offense. No way. I have not been one game where I'm like, wow. Even the game against Denver, there were moments, but it wasn't like, wow. I mean, they had to hold on for that game. I mean, no. Yeah, and Professor Lou Moore said they want Beijing to do so well that they celebrate his incompletions when comparing him to Fields. Then he throws a pick. Silence. Yeah, which I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know how Taylor Heineke's not starting next week. I'm sorry. Desmond Ritter's just not the guy. I don't see it. And Grady Jarrett also had an injury, season-ending torn ACL during Sunday's loss. So the Falcons will be without Grady Jarrett, and the Vikings will be out Cousins on Sunday. So an MRI confirmed it. His season's done. He will see when surgery happens. So Jaron Hall came in with 3 for 23 yards. Nick Mullins been on the injured list with a stretched fracture to his back, but it sounds like that they will. They think they compete. I guess we'll see what happens. Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey, first interception of the season. Tyreek Hill, 8 catches, a buck 12 and a touchdown. Just unbelievable. Ravens, 31-24. Joshua Dobbs, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I guess they said that Kyler Murray's still not ready, so he's going to start next week against the Browns. And, Lamar Jackson, 18 of 27, 174 and a touchdown. Gus Edwards, 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. Third consecutive win, game and a half up in the AFC North. Saints blew out, 38-27 over the Colts. Kamara, 110 total yards, 2 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew threw for 213, 2 touchdowns, interception. New Orleans is tied with Atlanta for first in the NFC South at 4-4. Doug Peterson says he's emphasizing limited distractions during the bye week. He says he doesn't want the team to let what they did in the first half of the season go on the wayside. 5 straight wins. Thank you, John Shipley. Also, Calvin Ridley got a 31% target share yesterday and was a potential drop away from a 100-yard game. Curious that this guy is no longer falling in regards to his production, perhaps overreacting to small sample size. Yeah, you can't. Dude, it's been, it takes a while for a guy to come. And he said it all last season. I mean, they beat the Steelers by 10. I'm sorry, 4 games. 4 games, not 5. Trevor Lawrence, touchdown interception. Travis Etienne, 149 total yards and a touchdown. Caught a 56-yard pass. Trubisky came in through a buck 38, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Kenny Pickett has not played well. And they were upset with the refs, the Steelers, but I don't know. So they're playing Thursday night against the Titans. Panthers, that's a bad loss, dude. I'm sorry. Went on the last game-winning 23-yard field goal. Eddie Pinheiro was acting like he kicked a 75-yard field goal. Dude, it was closer than an extra point. I was like, dude, really? C.J. Stroud did not play well for me. A buck 53, a touchdown. No more winless teams, and that's a bad loss. Texans should be 4-3. You can't lose games like that. Can't lose games. Yeah. And Stafford left with a thumb injury. Let's see if he is going to be playing. If not, after the are they going on a bye? Yeah, IR stint would ensure that Seahawks face yet another backup quarterback after already seeing Dalton, Dobbs, and Walker when they're playing the Rams in Week 11 after LA's bye week. So they're still playing. Rams are Green Bay Sunday. Green Bay has not. They're 3-5. Green Bay's 2-5. The 28 points were the most the Titans have scored since 2021. 19-29, 238, 4 touchdowns. In 3 quarters, he doubled the 2 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill has thrown in 6 starts. I think Tannehill's probably played his last. I think so. I think they're going to go with Levis the rest of the way. Hopkins, 4 catches, $128, and 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears combined for 128, but it really was Derrick Henry who had the yardage. And he's going to start Thursday versus the Steelers. First rookie quarterback since Justin Herbert to throw 4 touchdowns in a single game. Only rookie quarterback from the 23 draft to do so. He has more games with 130 passer rating than Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson combined. And every single one of those quarterbacks went 25-plus picks before him. He's making a lot of teams look stupid for passing on NFL rookie watch. I wrote 17 games in a season, 1 game, relax, Francis. And everybody got upset at me. But I was like, dude, it's 1 game. And I'm glad he had a great game. But I need to see it. I need to see consistency. I don't need 1-game wonders. I need guys that come and kick ass. And we'll see if that keeps going. KC 6-game win streak over 24-9. They didn't score in the second half. His first loss against Denver, he'd won 12 straight, as well as his first AFC West road loss. Yeah, Denver's defense, which yielded 70 points to Miami about a month ago, out of the end zone, 5 turnovers they forced. First one against the Chiefs in 2015. Yeah, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Also, it's a fumble. Mahomes, he was playing sick. Rashee Rice was the only wide on the team with more than 2 catches. Not a good game. And so Russell Wilson, 12 of 19 for 114 yards, 3 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, former heel, 98 scrimmage yards, a career high 30 touches. And Mahomes, 7.64 fantasy was the least amount of points he's ever had in a game he finished. They're 6-2. We were promised a snow game, which did not happen. And, hey, you have bad games. They went 6 in a row. You lost the game. You go from there. You move on. And San Francisco lost to Cincinnati, I said 31-17. And Ted Nguyen said, impressive in the last 2 games, throwing downfield and playing out of a structure. I think he leveled up in that department, but his turnover luck is regressing. High turnover-worthy play percentage, even when winning. He has to take care of the ball. I agree with that. Enakheim says that my sort of boring Brock Purdy take is gets too much credit when they're winning and now getting too much blame for when they lost because of the quarterback. I don't disagree. The next game is November 12th in Jacksonville. So the Jags also have a bye week this week. So no rest advantage but also no disadvantage other than having to travel out there for the game. McCaffrey, 7th straight game with a touchdown. No Deebo Samuel, 2nd consecutive game. 3 straight losses after winning 5 straight. Have scored just 17 points in each last of the 3 losses. Defense, Steve Wilkes having a tough time replicate what they did under DeMeco Ryans and Robert Saleh. Yeah. 11-game home winning streak is over by the Bengals, which I think is awesome. I mean, Burrow went 28 to 32, 283 3 touchdowns. His 87.5 completion percentage was a new career high, besting 2021 against the Steelers when he's 83%. He had 19 straight completion at one point, one shy of the franchise record set by Ken Anderson in 1982, but also used his legs. What do you have? 6 rushes for 43 yards. He had the calf injury. They forced 3 turnovers in the second half, a fumble and interceptions by linebackers Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson. And Kyle Shanahan said, it's up to me to get them better. And, Fred Warner says, talk about Wilkes. He said, that's the least of my worries. Honestly, I think players win games, not coaches. I think he's done a great job. They're sputtering. Yeah, hey, 3 straight losses. Brock Purdy threw 2 back-breaking interceptions yesterday. Now he's thrown 5 picks last 3 games. They had a 1st and goal to Bengals 8, trailing 17-10. Was trying to find Elijah Mitchell in the flat, but didn't see Jermaine Pratt running toward him. And Pratt made an athletic play to swat the ball out of the air and catch it. He would have had a pick 6 if he hadn't barely stepped out of bounds. Second was on his very next throw. They were on their own 20. He failed to see Logan Wilson. Yeah, he did not see him at all. They said Bryant and Ayuk and George Kittle were running right next to each other when Purdy threw the ball. They threw a touchdown, Jamar Chase on the next play. Yeah, they said so. Gilbert Manzano said it's probably not a coincidence that Birdie has struggled without Deebo Samuel, who injured his shoulder. Week 6 loss to the Browns. He's struggling this much without a complete offense. They traded Trey, and they were saying, "Well, look at Trey Lance is probably no. Quarterbacks have bad times. They were confident. The 49ers traded Lance because they're confident Purdy was the right quarterback to guide them in the Super Bowl. Now they might have doubts with how many misfires and turnovers he's had lately. San Francisco defense hasn't lived up to their reputation during this losing streak. They've allowed 160 rushing yards most of the season in the Week 6 loss to the Browns. Last week against the Vikings, they allowed 452 yards the most of the season. This week they allowed 400. The Niners only allowed more than 350 yards only twice last season. Hey, you know what? Bengals 1-3. They won 3 in a row. Let's give them props where props are due. I mean, this was a team you expected. They made the AFC Championship game. Should have beaten the Chiefs last year. Didn't happen. And, Brock Purdy, yeah, he has not looked great. Made a lot of bad plays. But, Kyle Shanahan's the coach is going to get him right. And, look at the stuff, and they'll fix that, and they'll go on from there. Okay, I put on, yeah. It's like this phone has a mind of its own. It really does. It has a mind of its own. And Boye Mafe has a full sack in 5 straight games per ESPN Stats and Info. Second longest streak by Seahawks in sacks, became official in 82. Michael Sinclair has the record of 6. He had a fumble recovery yesterday and 4 quarterback hits in their last comeback win over the Browns. And how about on a third down blitz with just over 2 minutes remaining, Adams jumped into a block from Browns right guard Wyatt Teller and pulled a Messi right in front of Browns quarterback P.J. Walker, whose pass hit off Adams' helmet, ricocheted high in the air. Julian Love came down for a game-turning interception, which led to a Jackson Smith-Njigba touchdown pass 79 seconds later. He said, yeah, Adams called it his Lionel Messi moment. He was prime Ronaldo right out there. Love said that play is all credit to Mal. The way he plays, the passion, the energy, the physicality. If he's not pressuring the way he is, that play never happens. And who knows what happened at the end? That's Jamal Adams. So he's played well. 3 complete games since he had a concussion against the Giants game on October 2nd. He's looked more comfortable. He's played better. And since in the 3 games he's played fully, they've allowed a total of 47 points to the Bengals, Cardinals, and Browns. Defense is coming around. They're getting wins. Things are looking better. Yeah, second half, Browns just had 2 field goals, and they had 3 turnovers overall. I mean, getting it done, man. Who are the Seahawks? And Milton was at the game yesterday. Michigan's friend's husband, who they all went to Michigan together. Who are the Seahawks? So he went to the game. He was in Seattle. They're playing at the Ravens on Sunday. That's going to be. And Cowboys, how about this? Cowboys linebacker Marquise Bell is officially PFF's number 1 graded linebacker for 8 weeks, 90.0. He measured 6'2" and an eighth, 212, jumped to 10.3 in the broad, 36.5 in the vertical, and then ran a 4.45 40. He had 15 tackles on a sack and forced a fumble versus South Florida as an FCS prospect. He went to Florida A&M. This guy was undrafted in 2022. And why isn't HBCU guys getting drafted? Why a guy like this is Marquise Bell is dominating. Good for them. Hey, they got the win. Dak Prescott threw for 25 of 31, 304, 4 touchdowns, interception. CeeDee Lamb had 12 for $158, 2 touchdowns. Best game of his career. And Deron Bland, the cornerback, second year, 9th interception and 3rd pick 6 of his 1.5 season career. How about Diggs who? I mean, God damn. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb said, give me the ball and see what happens. That's what he said. Well, he got it done. He had 7 catches, $117 last week against the Chargers. He was pissed because, hey, give me the goddamn ball. He had 4 catches, 49 yards, and a 42-10 loss to the Niners. Yeah, just let me do what I do to provide for this team. I know all my brothers in the locker room know I got their back, and I say that confidently. Yeah, when he plays, he gets shit done. They're 21-5 when he has 70 more yards. They are 7-9 in games when he has less than 50 yards. Yeah, he's a baller, man. He is a baller. Yeah. And so Joshua, it looks like Fournette's going to be signed. And that's another guy in the backfield. I mean, is he going to help the team? I don't know. Well, it's going to get colder weather. We'll see what happens there. Herbert threw for 298, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, all 3 in the first half. Eckler only 15 carries for 29 yards, but 7 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Quentin Johnson, 5 catches, 50 yards. Badgen, 25 of 37, 232s, 2 interceptions. And Foreman, who blew it up for me last week, 34 yards and 9 carries. So I'm glad I sat him. Cole Kmet, 10 for 79, but had a 4th down play where Kmet got blown up by Joey Bosa. So the Chargers visit the Jets and the Bears visit the Saints. Yeah, 38-31 yesterday. Jalen Hurts only had 319, 4 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 8 for 132 touchdowns. First player with at least 125 yards receiving in 6 consecutive games. Devontae Smith, 799 and a touchdown. And Jalen Carter left the third quarter with a back injury, did not return. That's not good. But hey, got the win. That's all that matters. And Michigan, Harbaugh, Michigan sent me this about Michigan, that Harbaugh, they pulled his contract extension. He goes, I wouldn't say that's accurate, but who knows? And how about this? Fuck you, Bud Adams. Houston was wearing throwback jerseys from olden days, like the Houston Oilers colors. What is it called? Columbia Blue? Yeah, Columbia Blue. Well, the NFL Merchandising and Licensing Division sent a cease and desist letter. They wore it September 2nd with the white Houston scripted across the front. I loved them. I love the Love You Blue. I thought it was great. It was a tribute to H-Town pride and a nod to the city's finest for the Oilers, who went to Tennessee after the 96 season. Yeah, Tennessee Oilers. And then became the Titans. That's bullshit. The Titans were the Oilers throwbacks, which is total bullshit. It was ridiculous. And they're going to wear them against the Texans on December 17th. Houston Chronicle first reported it. Blatant copying of the Oilers jersey was grounds for legal action. Please. Now, it's interesting. Rice wore similar uniforms on September 30th against East Carolina, and they didn't get anything from the NFL. Yeah, not heard anything. And former Texas player J.J. Watt often wanted to wear Oilers throwback, but Strunk has long rebuffed any overtures from the uniforms to be used in Houston. Yeah. Disappointed to learn the Houston Cougars made unauthorized use of the Oilers trade dress in a manner that is likely to cause consumers to believe that the Houston Cougars are associated with or are authorized licensee of the NFL and Titans. Shut the fuck up. Watt said on the Pat McAfee show, I lived and played in Houston. I wanted to wear those uniforms very badly. They have such a massive history and tradition of Love You Blue with bump films and everything that went on there. I understand the end with Bud Adams and everything that happened. I don't even want to get into all that. I just know, having lived and played there for 10 years, the people there, the connection they have to Earl Campbell, Warren Moon, and Billy White Shoes, to the guys that wore those uniforms and what they meant when they played in that Astrodome. It hurts to not be able to wear those in Houston, and it hurts to see them being worn somewhere else. I agree. Fucking Titans wearing that shit. It's just bullshit. See and desist. It's a Houston Cougars, the college team. What does that have to do to affect your brand? And you guys play in Tennessee. You have no connection to Houston anymore. Love You Blue is Houston. It's not in freaking Nashville. Such bullshit. Such bullshit. Ridiculous. Disgusted by all that. Disgusted. Oh, and Rashawn Gary, 4-year, $107 million. 15 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 8 quarterback hits through 7 games. 4 years, $107 million. He's in the final year of his rookie deal. He's now the 4th highest paid edge rusher behind Nick Bosa, $34 million, TJ Watt, $28, and Joey Bosa, $27. And this is a guy who was missed mid-season knee injury, cut his last season short. He's only had this season 127 pass rush snaps, still ranked second league in pass pressure percentage among qualified defenders with a 22% rate, minimum 80 pass rush snaps. And there's 203 qualified players, and he's second out of those 203 players. Nice going, man. Yeah, he's tied with Josh Uche behind Bryce Huff from the Jets. Micah Parsons also is behind him, and then Nick Bosa. He was the number 12 pick out of Michigan in 2019, all 5 years in Green Bay. This last 8-game season last year. Was in a snap count early in the season. He's playing more and more every game. I like that. And I love Professor Lou Morby. He always keeps it real. He says about Colorado, they had jewelry stolen out of the locker room in the loss at UCLA, they said. So you lose the game and you have jewelry stolen. That sounds like something a pro team should be worrying about. But now with NIL, a lot of guys, I guess they bring their jewelry everywhere with them. But what are you going to do? And he said his greatest gift as a coach is also his biggest detriment. He's always prime. And he talked about the offensive line, where they give 7 sacks in the loss to UCLA. He said, "Got to be hard to continue to play for a coach that don't want you." That's what Professor Lou Moore said. Deion Sanders on the offensive line struggling to protect. Shadori said, "The big picture, you go get new linemen. That's the picture, and I'm going to paint it perfectly." And I'm like, thank you, Nas Kozone, for that one. I feel like you're bashing the guys that are there, and then you bring in guys, and are they going to be thinking over their shoulder that you're going to say that? You're going to throw them under the bus? Everything was great when you were winning. Now you're 4-4. Now it looks like you're not going to make a bowl game. And you still won one game last year. And you just think you're going to replace these players. Well, it doesn't happen like that. Lines have to build, they have to work as a unit. And, we keep hearing about teams. Look at the Jets. I mean, you're bringing in third string guys on the practice squad. You can't make excuses. Hopefully you have depth. Guys get hurt, and you have to roll with the punches. And that's what you have to do. Kansas ended an 18-game losing streak against Oklahoma, takes down the undefeated number 6 Sooners. They beat Oklahoma in OU's first Big 12 year and their last Big 12 year. Venable owns the loss. Team was outplayed. He did not try to score before half, and then to run the ball with just over 2 minutes left doomed them. First down would have sealed it. And Emmanuel Ocho said, "How do you feel about Oklahoma losing to Kansas? I'm not a fan. I went to Texas to face a top 5 OU team. Big 12 championship game. The worse OU is, the less impressive beating them in a rematch is, assuming both teams make it." But Sarkisian said that they have the best win. He said SEC. I argue we have the best win in the country right now. If the fact we go down to Tuscaloosa and beat a team that was 52-1 of the past 53, he says they're 7th in the country, 7-1. They only blemish was to Oklahoma. They just beat up BYU. Quinn Ewers is out. Malik Murphy threw for $170, 2 touchdowns, and interception. And now they're going to go against a Kansas State team that is raring to go. So we'll see what happens there. UNC has lost 3 straight years to Georgia Tech, has beaten a ranked UNC team. 3 straight years. Thank you, Chris Vanini, for that one. That one hurts. 3 straight fucking years. Goddamn UNC. They suck. Every year. ASU, 1-16 with a bowl ban. They knocked off Washington State. They played Washington tough. They lost 31-24. I think I said Arizona had played Washington tough. They did. They lost 31-24. But ASU lost in Seattle 15-7 on October 21st. So I got that screwed up. So Northwestern, I was at Wrigley. That's a bucket list. And David Eicholt, who covers the Hawkeyes, says that Brian Ferentz is not expected to return as offensive coordinator next year. The over-under is at 29.5, which is a modern-day low. I mean, Hawkeyes 12-10 over Minnesota was a previous low for the over-under at 30.5. Iowa scored 19.5 points per game, 120th in the nation. They got, K. McNamara's hurt, but they have a great defense, 14.5 points per game. Last time they played in Chicago 2 years ago, Iowa won 17-12. So we'll see what happens there. Nebraska, so you got the Big 12 West, chaotic. Iowa 6-2, Minnesota 5-3, Nebraska 5-3, Wisconsin 5-3, all 3-2 conference play, all tied for first place. Northwestern's 2-3, just beat Maryland, while Purdue and Illinois are tied for last. Iowa's a 5-point favorite. I guess we're going to see what happens. They rank last in the country, Iowa, with 232.4 points per game. Yeah, Brian Ferentz needs to go. Nebraska's undefeated in October, 3-game winning streak, first time since 2016. Has not entered November after an undefeated month in 22 years, Mitch Sherman pointed out. It's funny that we thought the West would be largely decided when Iowa beat Wisconsin. Then they lost to Minnesota. Wisconsin defense, they lost 24-10 to the dump. So Nebraska at Wisconsin November 18th and Iowa Nebraska November 24th could decide the Big Ten West. We'll see if that happens. And I saw that Frank Gore ran for 247 and 2 touchdowns, but they lost 48-38 to Appalachian State. They're 1-7. And Frank Gore Jr. this year, 681, 6 touchdowns, 4.9 yards per carry. And he had a phenomenal bowl game last year. He had Frank Gore Jr. I remember Frank Gore Jr. bowl game. I could swear that bowl game stats. He had 329 and 29 carries. In the Lenning Tree matchup with Rice, 38-24 win. He had 329 yards and 21 carries. beat Appalachian State's Cameron Peoples, who ran for 317 in the 2020 Myrtle Beach Bowl against North Texas. That's 329 last. That's why I looked him up. I was like, dude, he's done this before. And Notre Dame's junior tight end, Treetop, Mitchell Evans, missed the remaining 3 games of the season and the bowl game with a torn ACL. Marcus Freeman confirmed. He got hurt in the second half of their 58-7 win over Pittsburgh. He had 5 catches, 66 yards for the season, 22-4-22. And he had a touchdown in the 33-20 loss to Louisville October 7th. I mean, he played 425 offensive snaps. Holden Stays has played the second most with 281. And after that, a lot of guys haven't played at all. So that's not good for them. So they lost their big guy. He's out the last 3 games. Ugh. Senior Kevin Bauman tore his ACL twice in 2 years as well this past August. So they've had problems with the tight ends, but that's a big blow, Treetop. But hey, they'll persevere, right? They will persevere. Kansas State 6-2. They're number 25. They beat Houston 41-0. They lost. So the Wildcats have one of the weirdest resumes. They lost to Oklahoma State, which lost to South Alabama, which lost to USL this past week. Seems to throw the reigning Big 12 champion off track. They're riding a 4-game win streak. They've been in Texas Tech, held TCU and Houston just 3 points total the last 3 weeks. Texas Tech, TCU, and Houston. Wow. They are allowing a Big 12 low 15.9 points per game. They go to number 7 Texas, which I'll be at this weekend. They could gain in the playoff if they can beat, with several impressive wins and 2 respectable losses, one versus ranked Missouri and another to coming of life Oklahoma State. Oregon State with losses to unranked Arizona, Washington State could fall. I think they're going to fall out too. So either Texas or Oklahoma must win the rest of the games, including the Big 12 championship. The only time a one-loss Big 12 champion has been left out of the playoff was the first year. TCU and Baylor both finished 11-1. Either Texas or Oklahoma is 12-1. It won't get left out. 2 losses, not going to happen. No 2-loss team has made the playoff. It won't matter next year. We go to 12. Both the Longhorns and Sooners will be tested this weekend. Texas is going to go with Kansas State. Oklahoma visits Oklahoma State in the last bedlam, which is bullshit. And they said, which team will have the biggest jump in the playoff rankings? Louisville, 7-1, 15th latest AP poll, on a 2-loss Notre Dame team that they beat. They lost to Pitt, was a bad loss. And they shut out number 20 Duke. Their 4-0 record against Power 5 teams with winning records. No team in the AP top 10 can say the same. That plus a win over Notre Dame could push them. So that's going to happen. Tomorrow is the first one. Yeah, I guess I don't see – I see it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, dump. I guess we're going to see Buckeyes have 2 wins over highly ranked teams and are 4-0 against FBS teams above 500. Georgia has no ranked wins and only 2 victories over winning teams. Michigan hasn't beaten anybody, right? So I think Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. Matt Brown, that's what he thinks. And Michigan's cousin, I love him. I love him. The stuff he put, sometimes he just cracks me up. He does. He cracks me up. Did you see the fake brotherly shove? So they looked like they were the brotherly shove against Washington, and then Swift took the ball and ran it in for a touchdown. But their cousin Sammy said the downfall of Michigan football will be sudden. Look at programs around the country who were recently elite and now irrelevant. The dump is 15-3 in the last 18 versus Michigan. They'll go 18-0 in the next 18 and 33-3 in the next 36. It'll be ugly or beautiful. I said, dude, you drink that Kool-Aid, something fierce. And how about this? So Tommy Pham was 4 for 4, and he wanted to make sure teammate Jason Peterson got it at bat. He said he came to me, to the manager, Tori Lavula, and said, he said, I need you to get my boy in at bat. And I said, are you sure? 100% sure. They're up 7-1 in the 9th. Peterson pinched it for Pham, who had 4 hits in the game, grounded out for a force out. No player had ever gone 5 for 5 in a World Series game. He turned down the chance to be the first. That's teamwork. That's something you love. So today you have Max Scherzer versus Brandon Pfaadt. This is the team that drafted him and hopefully traded him years ago. Yeah, I guess we're going to see what happens. Yeah, I guess we're going to see. And it's tied 1-1. Either team should win all 3 in Arizona. They could very well celebrate in the swimming pool beyond the Chase Field. We'll see. Defense has been stellar. Diamondbacks 56 errors. Rangers with 57 made the fewest and second fewest errors in baseball. That's pretty impressive. And did you see they had I don't like the sliding gloves, but they had like Halloween styled gloves. I think it was Arizona. I thought that was pretty funny. And Craig Counsell just interviewed with the Guardians. Golden State beat the Rockets 106-95. In the fourth quarter, Steph had 14 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, and Dylan Brooks, he embarrassed. And Chris Paul came off the bench for the first time in his career, 19-year career, started the first 1,365 game. I don't think he really gives a shit. He wants a win. He wants that ring. So Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevin Looney started against Houston. It was Green's season debut. Paul scored 8 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 27 minutes. They improved to 2-1. They intend to play their veterans on both sides of these early season back-to-backs, assuming health. That means Curry, Draymond, Clay, Paul expected to play tonight in Houston and tomorrow in New Orleans. Thank you, Anthony Slater. Steph had 24.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 3-pointers made, 14 points in the last 6 minutes. Kings beat the Lakers. De'Aaron Fox has a moderate sprain. He's going to be out for a little bit. They won 132, 127. Could be back within the next week. Still had 37 points, 8 assists in 34 minutes. And LeBron was not happy that D'Angelo Russell moved in another direction before ball was in play. Kings are 2-1. Lakers are 1-2. LeBron had 27 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. AD had 30 and 16 rebounds. Fox had 37, and Sabonis had 12 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists. And did you see last night, Lillard, opening night, what do you have? Had a great game opening night. Last night, they lost 127-110 to Atlanta on Sunday night in Milwaukee. He played great in the opener. 2 for 12, 2 for 8 for 3, 6 turnovers. After 39 in his opener, 6. Largest negative point differential between the players' first and second games of the franchise in NBA history per ESPN Stats and Info. It's 2 fucking games. Who had scored in double figures, 79 straight games, second longest of his career. That's over with. It's 2 games, folks. They got the Heat next, who eliminated Milwaukee in 5 games in the first round. So, who cares? And then Spurs, Wemby had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 a steal and a block, 5 turnovers. They lost by 40 to the Clips. And Kawhi, Russ, and Paul George combined for 59. Paul George had 5 steals in the first quarter. So they said, well, the record's 11. He didn't have any more the rest of the game. I love when Legion Hoops. I love when they put that. I think it's hilarious. James Harden is close to making his debut. He was present for the team's film session and walked through ahead of Sunday night's game against the Trailblazers, which they won. Expecting back in practice Tuesday. All signs are positive conditioning-wise. And Embiid had became the 4th player to have multiple games with 35-plus points, 15-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists, and 5-plus blocks. 35 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 6 blocks. They won 126-98 over the Blazers. There's 2-1. Blazers are 0-3. And so the Memphis is planning to sign 31-year-old Bismack Biyombo, who I feel like 61 games last year with the Suns, 4 points, 4 rebounds, and a block a game. They host Dallas tonight with its 5th game coming Wednesday at Utah. And how about Saturday night? Pistons beat the Bulls 118-102, but Zach LaVine had 50 points, 19-33, 4 rebounds, 0 assists, 50 points, and lost by 16. LaVine is the first Bulls player to score 50 points with no assists since Michael Jordan did it against the Heat in 96. Is that crazy? 51 points. Scored only 102 points in its 16-point loss. Half of his teams, no assists. Marking the 33rd time in history someone's dropped 50 without an assist. 16 of those instances belong to Wilt Chamberlain. It's the 11th time someone has 50 points with no assists in a loss. First since Kevin Love in 2012. And the shot clock turned 69 years old today. Syracuse Nationals owner created it. Danny Biasoni. This happened 4 years after the Fort Wayne Pistons beat the Lakers 1918 due to holding the ball as the clock ticked away. Imagine that. Thank God. Wow, that's crazy. Can you imagine a game 1918? I mean, I know the UNC had the 4 corners. That's kind of funny. And Skims has a new partnership with the NBA, WNBA, and USA Basketball. Kim Kardashian, God bless her, man. God bless her. They're going to expect Skims' footprint at marquee events like NBA All-Star Game, the NBA in-season tournament, WNBA All-Star Game presented by US Bank, AT&T, WNBA Live, and the USA Basketball Showcase, which features both USA men's and women's national team exhibition games that have major international exhibitions. And Magic Johnson is now part of the billionaires club. He's worth $1.2 billion, they said. He's a minority stake in the Washington Commanders. The Dodgers, the reigning MLS champion Los Angeles FC, the LA Sparks. In addition, through his Magic Johnson Enterprises, he has the empires with the movie theaters. Good for him. And St. John's, dude, it's an exhibition game. I know they lost 63-59 to Pace, a D2 school, but some guys didn't play. So let's be honest. No Joel Soriano, 15.2 points per game, and Jordan Dingle, who led Penn with 23.4 points per game. And Chris Ledlam, who averaged 19 points at Harvard last year, finished 2 for 14. And Dennis Jenkins, who averaged 15.6 from Tino. And Iona last year missed all 4 of his field goals. They're favored to be in the top 25, but it's an exhibition game. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, guys didn't play. You're still trying to get guys together. They were finished to pick 6 in D2's Northeast 10 Conference's preseason poll, but it's exhibition games, right? I mean, come on. Let's not go crazy here. And Duke got 5-star number 1 prospect of class of 2024, Cooper Flagg. He was going to originally go to class of 2025, but reclassified to 2024 in August. In 22-23, he averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Monteverde Academy. He won a gold medal for Team USA at the 2022 FIBA Under-17 and was named USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year. At the Nike EYBL Peach Jam, he averaged 26 points, 13 rebounds, 7 blocks, 6 assists, and a steal a game. He can do everything. He can send it to prove his 3-point shot. The Maine native can't do, they said. He thinks he's going to lose a lot of guys. He has 5-star guard Isaiah Evans, number 11 overall, 5-star wing Con Nupel, number 16, a 4-star wing Darren Harris, number 56. They're all lead shooters, and now you got a guy, 6'9" point forward, who thrives in the interior. They also are trying to get some other guys, but they feel that this year's team could all be gone. Top 6 players could be gone. They're also looking for Dylan Harper Jr., the number 2 player in the class, and center Patrick Ngangba, the number 20 player. Harper's deciding between Rutgers, Kansas, and Duke. And while he's long been seen as a Rutgers lean, I think Duke will probably have a chance at him. And Ngangba, their top remaining front court target. Both Kentucky and Kansas State are in the mix. He's at the same high school that Jeremy Roach and Trevor Keels, and where Harris currently plays. Definitely means Duke is a contender for him. I guess we'll see what happens there. And Sidney Crosby, 54 career points against the Senators, trails only Ovechkin for 60 for the most among all active players. And Oilers won the Heritage Classic. Now, the Commonwealth Stadium, what is it called? Isn't that what it's called? The Heritage Classic? The Commonwealth, what was it called last night? The Heritage, is that what it's called? The Heritage Classic, yeah. 5-2, their first home win of the season. Connor McDavid had an assist. Vegas beat the Kings 4-3 in a shootout, 8-0-1. Sabres beat the Avalanche 4-0. Sabres are 12-1-1 in the last 2 seasons while wearing their black and red throwbacks. And have scored their opponent 65-35. Alex DeBrincat for Detroit has 9 goals. Travis Konecny for Philadelphia has 8. So does Pasternak for Boston. Vetrano for Anaheim, former Ranger, and Austin Matthews with 7. And the EIHA, the English Ice Hockey Association, said net guards protected will be mandatory starting 2024, the death of Adam Johnson. I think that next could be in every goddamn, because it can happen in any goddamn league. And that he bled out a 29-year-old guy should never happen. The guy, Luis Rubiales, the then president of the Spanish Football Federation, forcibly kissed star Jenny Hermoso. Well, he's got a 3-year ban from FIFA. Good for him. Jamaican Football Federation said on Friday that they finally paid their Women's World Cup squad after players opted out of the Gold Cup qualifiers in protest. That's bullshit. And U.S. women national team beat Colombia 3-1. Mia Fischel, Lindsey Horan, and Jaden Shaw all scored. Fischel's was the most exciting. She's essentially auditioning to be the team's number 9. Good for him. Good for her. And ESPN, Mike Breen, 2-year, multi-million-dollar extension if they get the rights again. He's good friends with Doc Rivers. He's now partnered with Doc Rivers and Doris Burke. They also have another team that, for eventually, if they keep, it's Ryan Ruocco, J.J. Redick, and Richard Jefferson. All right. Good for them. If the ESPN keeps the finals every season in 2006, 2027, Breed would be scheduled to be on the call, the league's top event for 22 years. That's pretty impressive, folks. That is pretty impressive. Got a text message? Who texts me? Your opinion matters. I don't care. Oh, how are you? How are you today? Hal, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Doing a podcast. That's what I'm doing right now. Doing a podcast. Wow. Connor McGovern and Wes Schweitzer both placed on IR. That means they have to miss a much 4 game. Amon-Ra St. Brown expected to play. I need to have a big game today. Yeah. Oregon flips Elijah Rushing, pass rusher number 2 edge in 2024 class. Bonmate wins Ballon d'Or. Spain embark a midfielder to Thrones teammate Alexia Putellas to win first Ballon d'Or. Philly sending Kentavious Street in 2025 seventh round pick to Atlanta for conditional 2024 6th round pick. Kenneth Gainwell had, after DM exchange during the game, was he not playing? Texting during the half? He reported to an online heckler at halftime. Of course, we talked to Kenny about it. Hold on to the football, you fucking bum. Little boy, don't text me. Get off your phone. Just use some glue. I'm trying to win it all. Keep grinding, though. During the game? Are you kidding me? It's nuts. Nuts. Crazy. All right. Dancing with Stars found dead in Poland. Cezary Olszewski? I don't know. So, he's a pro on the show. Oh, okay. All right. Trivia questions / show. Michigan's coming home. Before becoming an official NHL franchise, the Predators held a name the contest. Which one of these names was not a finalist? Fury, Attack, Snow Leopards, and Ice Tigers. So I thought I said Snow Leopards is great. Well, Snow Leopards, it wasn't actually fair because the owner, Craig Leipold, added his own submission to the mix, the Predators. I think Snow Leopards and Snow Leopards is a great name. That's just a cool name. Make them white or yellow, whatever, like jumping out of the shirt. That's bullshit. Today's trivia question, Ravens. Oh, shit. I just gave it away. What record did Lamar Jackson set yesterday in the win over the Cardinals? Since he did something no quarterback has done. He set a record yesterday since the 1970 merger for a quarterback that he set a record yesterday since 1970, a record yesterday in their win over the Cardinals. Can you tell me what it was? A win in the win yesterday. That's the tribute. Enjoy the sports equinox. Bumbles. Josh, thank you so much. Some love to my mom, Mrs. S. Carol and Carol saw Carol today. I'm going to see Fallon on Wednesday. Gumbo Chef get in. Texas on Thursday. All excited. All right. Peace out. I got to go. I'll talk to you soon. Adios.